Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's happening? So the big fight that everybody want to see, Earl the Truth Spence Jr. versus Terence Bud Crawford, it's been put on hold, man, for the last couple of years or whatever. Everybody's been looking at this fight happen and everybody been wanting to see this fight happen. And I think it's finally here this year, man. I think at the end of 2021, that fight will happen. I know a lot of people are skeptical and for good reason. A lot of people aren't as optimistic as I am for good reason. But I truly believe that this fight will happen. And to be quite honest with you, as we know, Team Earl Spence have proposed an offer to top-ranked Terence Crawford 60-40. I think it's a very reasonable offer. And this isn't even a new thing. Earl Spence mentioned the 60-40 split, late 2018, early 2019, like he been talking about this, especially, after, once he started getting those, started fighting on pay-per-view regularly and stuff like that. He's mentioned 60-40 before. So this isn't a new thing. And even back then, Bob Arum and Top Rank, they weren't, very open to the idea of fighting 60-40. Bob Arum, he wants 50-50. Of course, he wants to max out as much as he can get for Terence Crawford. Not for Terence Crawford, but off of Terence Crawford. He wants to max out as much money as he can get. He already came out and said that he's been losing money on Terence Crawford. He said that the only fight that makes sense of putting on pay-per-view for Terence Crawford is versus Earl Spence. So, I mean, when you think about it from, a lot of people getting on Earl Spence about him, being so adamant about his offer and the business side and the money side, because everything that he worked to get, all the work that he put in to get to this point, to be able to be in a position to say, I want 60-40, having 3 successful pay-per-views back to back to back, being able to put up the numbers and that he does and gaining the popularity that he has, and, looking at being able to fight at Cowboy Stadium, anytime you want to have a big fight, he can always go and fight at Cowboy Stadium, building a relationship with Jerry Jones, one of the most powerful men in the sports industry, period. And having just, grown such and building such a solid fan base and following and support system, all around the world, but especially here in the U.S. and especially in Texas. So for Earl Spence to put in all that work, I think him demanding 60-40 is the very least of what he could ask for. And I think it's very reasonable. But Bob Arum, of course, he wants to try to get as much as he can off of Terence Crawford while he got him. That's why he's like, look, I want 50-50 because, it's going to be a joint venture, PBC, Top Rank, ESPN, Fox. It's going to be a joint venture, so he want to try to max out as much money as he can get, right? Now, he's giving Terence Crawford a lot of bad advice, telling him that 60-40 is not a good deal, when we all know it's a great deal. It's going to be the most money that either guy has made in their career as far as Earl Spence and Terence Crawford, and especially for Terence Crawford. So, and then you look at what's going to be at stake there. I mean, how could you turn that down? But I think ultimately this fight will happen because we know that Terence Crawford's contract with Top Rank ends at the end of this year. I believe September, October-ish, around that time. I wouldn't put it past Terence Crawford to re-sign with Top Rank yet again, but I really can't see it happening after everything that Bob Arum has said about, he ain't worth anything. Basically, I'm losing money on this guy. All the money that I lost, I could have went and bought a house in Malibu. Just saying, y'all can have them. If anybody that want to pay for this fight here, take it. Y'all can have, like, all of the disrespectful things that Bob Arum has said about Terence Crawford. And even Terence Crawford's sister had to come out, like his sister, who don't have nothing to do with this boxing shit. Even she had to come out and say something about, like defending Crawford, like yo, that's very disrespectful. Don't be talking about my brother like that. You know what I'm saying? Just shitting on his name. And with all of that, bro, I find it hard to believe that Crawford will re-sign with this guy, knowing that if he does, the Earl Spence fight ain't happening. Because Bob ain't gonna accept no 50-50, no deal that's not 50-50. He not gonna accept no 60-40. And we all know that, Bob Arum is in control of the deals that Terence Crawford get. If it's gonna be a pay-per-view fight, Bob Arum gonna control those percentages as far as what they accept. Now we know Earl Spence, him, Man Down Promotions, having his own promotional company, and of course he partnered with Al Heyman advisor, and he signed to a network, Fox. But Earl, when it comes to the percentages and the numbers, like Earl Spence really, he can demand what he want to demand, as far as the splits. He got a say in that. But we know Terence Crawford really don't have a say in that. So as long as he's with Top Rank, this fight ain't happening. I mean, that's just what it is. But I believe that Terence Crawford, the number one reason, the main reason, the obvious reason that I feel like this fight has a good chance of happening is because I believe that Terence Crawford will ultimately leave Top Rank. I don't think he will re-sign. I don't know if he's going to go to PBC and do like a 1 or 2 fight deal with Earl Spence, maybe a fight and a rematch. I don't know. Or maybe the fight with Earl Spence and then have something else lined up on the back end with maybe a Keith Thurman or something like that. I don't know. Or if he just goes the free agent route and does like a 1 fight deal on a 1 fight basis. You know what I'm saying? Because he's at the latter part of his career now. He really accomplished a lot. He ain't really fought the best guys, but accomplishments wise, being undisputed at 140, being a 3-division champion, being, pound for pound best fighter in the world on a lot of people's lists, including mine. So he's accomplished a lot of things as far as like just being a decorated fighter, but there's still so much left to be desired with Terence Crawford's career because of the lack of the top competition that he's fought. So that's the one obvious reason, of course, with his contract ended with Top Rank. But I'm gonna tell y'all the reason that deep down Terence Crawford, why he can't turn down this offer, why ultimately he will find a way to accept this 60-40 outside of, him not being with Top Rank. And the deal could go to 70-30 if Earl Spence go and beat Ugas and get this 3rd belt. But I think they will come to a healthy agreement of 60-40. That's what I think. You know what I'm saying? Could be 65-35, but we gonna see. Now, Earl Spence Jr. and Yordenis Ugas, they will fight for the unification, WBC, WBA, IBF. They will fight. Now, we know I expect Earl Spence to win that fight. Now, we don't know what's going to happen, but I do expect Earl Spence to win that fight. Now, we know that Terence Bud Crawford has been undisputed at 140. In the 4-belt era, he held all 4 belts at one time, fought Julius Ndongo. Julius Ndongo was unified. Terence Crawford was unified. They both went in with 2 belts. Terence Crawford went in there, stopped him with a body shot, spectacular knockout, and he was undisputed, 140. Legendary type shit. Yeah, the names that he beat really wasn't all that, but he did what he did, you know what I'm saying? Undisputed. Now, the only other guy that I can think of, whether it be in the 4-belt era or the 3-belt era, I know it ain't been done in the 4-belt era. You know what I'm saying? I know that shit ain't been done recently in the 4-belt era. That shit ain't been done. The only other guy that has done what I think Terence Crawford has an opportunity to do is become undisputed in 2 different weight classes. Now we know Evander Holyfield, he was undisputed at cruiserweight and undisputed at heavyweight. And he did it in the 3-belt era, right? Now, great feat. Nobody else that I can think of has ever done that. Terence Crawford will have the opportunity to be undisputed in 2 weight classes in the 4-belt era. Now, it's the reason why he can't turn this shit down is because it's like a layup, bro. It's not a layup because in order to do it, you gotta beat Earl Spence Jr., right? But think about the fact that Earl Spence literally had to go through the gauntlet. Earl Spence had to go through all the heavy lifting, all the tough fights, all the dangerous opponents. So he's gonna go into that fight with 3 titles. Terence Crawford comes in with his WBO belt, and it's only one man you gotta beat. It's only one man you gotta beat. Now, think about it like this. The money that he's gonna make, even with a 35% or 40% split, is gonna be the most he ever made in his career. On top of that, just being in a fight with a guy like Earl Spence raises up your popularity, it raises up your status. But beating Earl Spence Jr. is gonna shoot Terence Crawford through the fucking moon. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, it's undisputed. And you have an opportunity to be undisputed at 140 and undisputed at 147. Nobody has ever done that, not in the 4-belt era. And it's only been one other guy that's been undisputed in 2 different weight classes, and that was Evander Holyfield, all-time great heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? Terence Crawford strikes me as a guy who cares about these type of things. He always talks about his accomplishments, talking about being undisputed, talking about, you know, everything that he's done in his career as far as winning titles and being a champion. Terence Crawford will not let an opportunity like this pass by. I don't care if he have to take a 70-30 split. Now, keep in mind, when he's not with Top Rank, he gonna be able to move a little different. So I think he's gonna be thinking more legacy minded as opposed to trying to make sure, well, I get 50%. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really like some ego shit. I know Terence Crawford deep down, he gotta understand, like, you know, and his team, they gotta understand, like, bro, this the best offer you gonna get from a guy like Earl Spence. You know what I'm saying? This the best offer you gonna get. I think he gonna realize that and understand that, bro, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be undisputed in 2 weight classes. I just can't see Terence Crawford turning that down, y'all. I can't see it, man. So y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Do y'all believe what I believe? Do y'all believe that Terence Crawford will ultimately accept whatever it is that Earl Spence offer him? You heard what Earl Spence said at the Canelo fight. He said, look, man, he going to have to take this 60-40, 70-30, whatever we give him. And I think Terence Crawford will ultimately accept that because it's the right thing to do for the fans and it's the right thing to do for him. With everything, like, it's like, bro, it's like Earl Spence really throwing this man a bone. Like, bro, he had to go through everything to get to this point, and all you got to do, you know, yeah, you beat Jeff Horn, you beat Amir Khan, you beat Kell Brook, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, you beat Jose Benavidez, but bruh, come on, bruh. You took the elevators. Earl Spence took the stairs. You did what I'm saying. So now you got a once-in-a-lifetime chance, bruh. Earl really throwing you a bone. You got, fuck the 40%, fuck the 30%. You already got money. You know what I'm saying? It's way much more to gain if you take that. There's way much more to gain. Forget the split. You got way more to gain. You know what I'm saying? So y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. What do y'all think Terence Crawford gonna do? Contender regime, boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.